Personally, I feel that one of the best ways to grow during our own entrepreneurial journeys is to hear other people's journeys. To hear about what they've already done and what they're gonna do is super powerful. Today we're gonna hear from Klaus from Become the Me I Wanna Be. Welcome to Entrepreneur's Toolbox. I'm Jonathan, and I'm here to help you find the tools to build an income online. I upload new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so make sure that you subscribe and ring the bell so you get notified every time that a new video goes live. I'm not gonna waste any more time, so let's just jump into this value-packed interview. Hi everyone, Jonathan here. I'm here with Klaus from Become the Me That I Wanna Be. Hey Klaus, could you introduce yourself to everybody? Or?
Yeah, absolutely, man. So my name is Klaus, and the reason why most people that invite me on their shows don't say my last name is because they trip over it with their tongues and their minds and everything. So my last name is Van Oosterhout. I'm Dutch by origin, living in Spain, studied in the US for a bit as well, been all over the place. Man, loving life. I'm a person, right? Discovering my spirituality, putting myself first above everything else to make sure that my cup is full. Then making sure that what comes next is my wife, after that my kids, and then everybody else, so friends, family, and me as a personal success coach, serving people with the brand name Become the Me I Want to Be.
Awesome. So I just had a few questions that I was going to run through, and I'm sure that my audience is going to get as much value as I'm sure that I'm going to get out of it. My first question that I wanted to ask was, you kind of just answered a little bit of this, but who are you? Where are you from? And what exactly do you do online?
Mm-hmm. So who are you? It can be a real deep question. Let's keep it simple. I just said who I am. So let's go to where I'm from. Well, I'm from the Netherlands. Both my parents were born there, and their parents as well. And I think as far as they've known, pretty much the whole family generations come from there. And then at one point I left to Spain for love. And then after that, love kicked me in the ass, kicked me to the curb. I found my wife, my true love, and I've been married now for upcoming August 9 years. So wait a minute, that's almost. So yeah, in a couple of weeks, it'll be 9 years. So very excited for that. And what else? What do I do online?
Mm-hmm.
Having fun and using it to my benefit to be able to fulfill my purpose. So I'm a personal success coach. I do everything online. I have no clients where I live. All my clients are from all over the world. So I got some in the Netherlands, the UK, Australia, Canada, the US, and yeah, coming out with online courses that people can help people to become the me I want to be, right? Mm-hmm. And enjoying that, and then dabbling a little bit in affiliate marketing, and decided for now that I'm going to put that on the side burner for now, because I really want to focus on become the me I want to be. Just having tons of fun with that, and changing lives.
That's awesome. That you're I've been seeing some of the stuff that you've been doing in your group, and it's really inspiring. So one other question is that a lot of people it's like, how long exactly have you been working online? Because a lot of people tend to compare themselves now with somebody that's at a completely different stage. So, just an idea of how long your journey's been going so far.
So Become the Me I Want to Be is very young. Before that, I did become a fearless father, which I did for about a year and a half. Before that, I had an online business, which was called Muay Thai Pro. It was actually an online Muay Thai training business in Spanish. Did that for 4 years. Actually did that together with my mother, which was very special. And before that, I worked in paper. So I used to work for Xerox in a company. And then when I moved to Spain, I actually tried to set up a online, selling paper and all that stuff online. So I did that for a little bit, and also try to sell natural or organic perfumes and things that smell. You put the sticks in and you put them in your room, and they just, they smell nice. And they give it a nice smell. Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. So I did that online as well for a little bit, and I think that would be it. So all in all, about 10 years or something.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
So you've been at it for what? You've been at growing your entrepreneurial journey for quite some time now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And step by step finding what it is that I actually like to do, and what fulfills me, and what, fulfills my purpose, and what makes me come out the strongest, the best, so I can serve others within the world and inspire them sometimes, or sometimes even, get them as a client, or really help them change their lives for finding out who they want to be. So yeah, man.
Helping others first. That's really powerful. So for my next question, I was like, what was the defining moment in your online journey? A lot of people, they don't really, there's like a moment where everything kind of starts for them. What was it for you?
Yeah. Let's think. I think, to be honest, like online stuff, it would definitely be the One Funnel Away challenge. I did the very first one, and from that, things started rolling. And the biggest lesson that I learned there was from Russell himself, where he said, look, stop trying to figure out how to do it. Start figuring out who can do it for you, right? So I really start diving in. It's like, okay, what are my strengths? What is my passion? What do I really like to do? And what do I absolutely hate? I got to make sure that I find somebody as soon as possible to work on that, right? And as soon as I start doing that, that's when things really start clicking. That's when I got myself now a designer, I got myself a copywriter, I got myself a podcast manager. What else do I have? I got myself a funnel coach that helps me and designs the funnels for me and make sure that that's all okay, and helps me to form the offers. And that way I can focus on what I love. And that's, going on podcasts like these, for example, going on, going live myself, interviewing on my own podcast, people, and focusing on that, and then having everything else that I don't like to focus on, but does help me with everything that are my strengths. Just, have somebody else do that. So it's, that's the biggest thing that I've learned. And that was the defining moment that really started to move things forward. And finally people saying like, dude, you're blowing up. I'm at the foundation. I finally found out the foundation. So it's going well. I'm enjoying it.
I've heard a lot of people say that the One Funnel Away challenge was like the thing that made it click in their head.
Yeah, there's so much value given, especially for the money. Everybody should do it.
I mean, honestly, that was my catalyst too. Like that's what kind of triggered it for me too. So you kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, but what is your like long-term vision for the future?
For what specifically?
Well, what are you trying to get out of being like from your online journey? What is your vision on your main goal? What are you trying to get out of doing this? What made you go online and say like, I need to go online in order to accomplish this in the end goal?
All right. Yeah. No, because when we talk about visions, I got 8 different areas in life where I focus on. I have visions for. We'll be sitting here for a while. So I appreciate being more specific. So it's in regards to business, right?
Yeah.
So I actually just revised it. So it's pretty cool. I'm very excited for it. So one of the visions is to have my team even more expanded, and coming out with several. I want to have at any given time 10 online one-on-one clients, high-paying clients. And I want to have one ongoing group coaching course that's live. And then in the background, because those live courses will grow into automated courses, right? So having several well-oiled, good running, functioning group automated courses, however you want to call it. And that's it. And I actually want to work as less as possible. So that's my vision. And then enjoying that. And my vision for life, or a little part of it, is that I want to be 100 plus. And I actually want to have that online journey to be going. If that's still at that time, I mean, we're talking about 60 years from now. So, maybe then it works differently. Who knows? However, that's the vision that I see. I'll be serving and fulfilling my purpose until the moment that I breathe my last breath. It'll probably be different, different forms, different seasons. However, that's how I see it.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to make a huge impact without having to work like a dog, and spend time on working on those other visions and inspiring other people. Because it's not always, doesn't always have to be about work to make sure that you inspire and achieve or you fulfill your purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So I've also noticed that if I share stuff about, my kids and I having fun, that inspires others as well. And especially since I focus on entrepreneurs that are also driven to make a huge impact in their homes, they like to see that side of me and see how that goes, how that develops, what do we do to have fun, and so they can get inspired from that and then use that in their own lives to step it up on that area. So yeah, man, that's the vision.
What are you doing to continue to grow and progress during your online journey?
So when people think about online, they always focus on the online stuff. And I focus a lot on the offline stuff, meaning like try to be offline as much as I can to grow my mindset, to grow my confidence, to grow my health, right? To become more strong, more fit. And it might sound weird. However, I firmly believe that to be on point when you have to be, right? Online, or are you coaching, or you're going live, or you're doing these kind of interviews, right? You got to have the energy. I mean, it's 7:30 already here in the evening, right? Now, you've already met my kids. You've seen how rowdy they are. That's all day. I'm with them 24/7. Besides that, you might have heard my dog a little bit. So I got a dog that's energetic as crazy. We got a turtle. I got a beautiful wife that likes her attention, her time, and she has her energy. So there's a lot going on, right? So I got to be on point. I got to know exactly how I can shift my mindset for what it is that I need, right? So with my kids, as you've seen, right, I got to make sure that I'm calm and poised, even though they're interrupting at a certain point. I can't start yelling at them, right? That's not beneficial for anybody, and it will harm me, it will harm them, and it will harm you. Right, so I work very hard on making sure that I have a morning system that's on point, that's offline as much as possible, where I journal, where I do a lot of meditation. And I do a lot of exercising. I make sure that I do a lot of reading, and I do all that stuff to make sure that my mind and my body and my soul are all completely aligned and ready to go. And then I go look on, okay, what's online, right? And instead of what I believe that most people do is like they're just looking for, okay, what's the next online course that I can take so I can improve myself actually online to get the new techniques. I don't want to learn any more techniques. I don't want to. As soon as I find out that there's a technique that I need to know, I'll find the best person I can to make sure that that person knows what it needs to be known, because that person will always do that faster, better, and it will save me a ton of time, right, and get better results. So why wouldn't I find that person, right? Not to light on that because it sounds really easy, and for me it is because I worked on that. However, at least 60 to 70% of my team, I don't pay them. Now, not mean that they don't deserve to pay, they do. However, we have different agreements where we do things for each other, and people are always so focused. And the first results that we're saying when they say, that was my first thought. I'm not kidding. That was my first thought when Russell Brunson said, like, look for the, don't look for how you can do it. Look for the who, right? The first thing I was thinking, dude, I have no money. Like, I just paid $100 for your show, right? That says a lot. Because if I had more money, I would have gotten a coach. I wouldn't have bought your course, because getting a coach is way better, right? It's way more effective. One person that works one-on-one with you, you kidding, right? And then I started discovering, dude, that's just my mindset. Why do I have to pay somebody? Who says that I have to, right? Why people back in the day, there wasn't any money. We used to make switches. Why can't we do that anymore? And then all of a sudden I find people, and I even have some clients that pay me. Right? They do stuff for me and they pay me for my coaching, right? So you make those switches and everybody is happy as long as everybody gives value, and you both respect each other and appreciate what the other person is doing, and you communicate with each other and you're building together on your businesses. We all grow. And then it's like, wow, this is all of a sudden really easy. And that's how I work on my online journey. I just continuously try to find the people that want to work with me, that we're connected, right? We have a lot in common. And all of a sudden you find coaches, you find copywriters, designers, podcast managers. I have a Facebook group manager, coach, whatever you want to call her. And that's all of a sudden how you build that. And life all of a sudden becomes so much easier, and your online journey becomes so much easier by building those relationships. So again, and that comes from me working on me, right? I'm confident. I feel great. I mean, and this is not trying to sound really like, look at me, but who doesn't want to connect with me, right? I feel so confident. Like, who doesn't want to connect with me? I'm nice to you. I want to serve you, right? I want to really help you. And as long as I have that confidence and I have that level of well-being and happiness within me, then the online journey is going to become so much easier. A breeze, almost. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, that was actually really powerful, and I think everybody should just go back and listen to your answer again, because there was a lot of really like golden nuggets all over that response. So I got a lot of value out of that. Yeah, so I really appreciate that response. I really do. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to it too.
There you go.
So another question that I wanted to ask was, what do you do when the unknown happens? I mean, curveballs come at us all the time. We don't really know what we're gonna, what's the best solution. But if that happens to you, what would be your approach?
What's a curveball? Either catch it or smack the hell out of it, try and hit that home run, right?
Yeah.
Dude, that's a difficult question, because what's the unknown, right? What are we talking about here? I mean, COVID was unknown, and for me, nothing changed. Actually, one of my visions just became real close, because all of a sudden the school was closed, and where everybody was complaining, like, oh, I got to homeschool my kids. I was like, whoop, whoop. This is my vision. Are you kidding me right now? Like, I can't do this in Spain, like in the United States. I know that people can homeschool their kids. I can't do that here. Like, I got to do so many crazy things and jump through so many hoops. It's impossible, right? So now I get the possibility to do that. And I'm not going to say it was easy, right? Actually, it was sometimes really hard, but that was so beautiful, man. It got so many new challenges. I grew from this. It's insane, right? And again, nobody was expecting that. However, there's so many unknown things. I have no idea. What if I get in an accident and I can't walk anymore? I don't know. What we have to realize is that the distinction that we have to make if we get hit by the unknown is looking at, okay, what can I control and what can I not control, right? And what can I not control, I can't focus on that. So the fact that I have, like, for example, I see a lot of this discussion, right? People being very upset that they have to wear a mask, right? Now, we have to wear a mask as soon as we leave the door. You have to put a mask on. Now, I can complain about that, but there's nothing I can do about that. Now, I can be stubborn, right? And be like, man, they can't do anything to me. And I'm a Dutch guy, and I don't know what, I know better, blah, 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 right? But what's the point? Like, well, I don't see the point in that, because I really can't, that's what we have a government for. That's what we elected a government to make those decisions for me. If I'm not agreeing with that, then I should start my own country, right? So I just put my mask on because I can't control it. And plus, and I start thinking, and this is something I just want to share this because it's been on my mind for a long time. So I hope your show is okay with that.
Oh, yeah.
If not, you just edit it. It's fine. So one of the things is, right, the mask gives other people a sense of security and relaxed, right? So there are people that are more affected by COVID, or older people, for example. I can see that. I can see that because when I see somebody walking with no mask on, I see them getting anxious, and you see it in their body language, right? And the head goes like this, and they're trying to move away, and they're already walking. They're already having difficulty walking. Why wouldn't I put a mask on? What's the difficulty? So it's hot. I feel a little, it's a little uncomfortable to breathe. I sweat a little more. Man, who gives who cares, right? I make these people feel comfortable and safe, right? They don't have to scour away because they're afraid they're going to get COVID and die, right? Because in all due respect, man, there was a lot of people dying. At least around here, our upstairs neighbor died. Our next door neighbor died. They were older, right? But still, they passed away. There were people that 3 months ago we were having wonderful conversations with, and they were having fun with the kids and laughing and stuff like that. Sometimes giving them some candy or some fruit, right? And now they're no longer here. And it's like, why wouldn't I want to do something? So again, you look at what can you control, right? So to bring it back and answer your question, so always look at what can I control, and that's what you do. And what can I control is always me. So one of the things that I learned recently, I was using it, but I was using it unconsciously, and now I learn it, is like in any situation, just tell yourself, I am responsible, and say that 3 times. So I'm responsible, I'm responsible, I'm responsible. Now, I'm not responsible for COVID, right? Or whatever could happen, or any unknown thing. I might not be responsible for that. It might not be my fault. However, I am responsible in how I'm going to respond to that. Meaning, like, how am I going to let it affect me? Like, am I going to go absolutely bananas and angry? Am I going to hit the bus driver that's going to tell me that I have to wear a mask, or whatever the rules that all of a sudden became reality because of the unknown? So I always try to look at, okay, what can I control? The biggest thing that I control is watch my choices. And one of the choices is to always make sure that whatever happens, whatever the unknown is, always focus on what's my purpose? What kind of legacy do I want to leave behind? What are my visions, right? Can I still make those happen, or do I have to change them? And how am I going to go back from that to make sure that every single day is just another full day, no matter what unknown thing comes on my path? I hope that makes sense.
That was actually a very powerful answer. So so I was just wondering, is there any book or resource that you'd recommend that has like changed your life, and that you 100% suggest it to somebody, that they pick it up or read it? Or
Exactly. Yeah, man, that's tons, right?
Yeah.
However, I'm always focused on what am I doing now? So I always prefer to share with people, like, what am I doing now? Well, right now I'm reading this book, Maximum Achievement by Brian Tracy. Phenomenal. I had a goal, and I did the same silly goal as I see many people do. And that's saying, I'm going to read this year X amount of books. And I did. I read several books until I started reading this book. And then I said, you know what? I'm not going to read any other book anymore for the rest of the year. I'm just going to read this. It is so full packed, and I'm almost done, and I'm going to start over, right? I'm going to start over, and I'm going to, because this book is so amazingly full of golden nuggets. It's insane. And it has opened my mind. However, if you would ask me, you know, maybe right after I've done one funnel away challenge, I would have told you, like, dude, man, one funnel away challenge, mind blowing, right? If I do it now again, I don't know. I would, just for the energy of Steve Larsen, I'd do it again. Just saying that, right? For people that don't know him, dude, you got to know him. Find him out. Just watch him a little bit. Check out his podcast or whatever. His energy is so freaking bomb, right? I love that. And then, of course, Russell's knowledge. And then besides that, the community that something like that creates, right? So if you're able to get like a course like that, where the community is so big that no matter how much you spend, even if there's no value coming from the course, that the community is so important that you created those new relationships, right? Gold. Perfect. Other than that, I'm not big anymore on courses. I'm really big on getting yourself a one-on-one coach. And for me, so far, the best coach that I had was Niji Sobo. His company is called I'm Not You, and his course is called I can't remember this. It's been a while, because that's what changed my life from being what I call a zombie into, like, you know, now walking the path of become the me I want to be. And his course and his coaching is absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, man, there's various things. I mean, shoot, do we have another hour? I can a ton of stuff. But yeah, man, I always just focus on what is it. If somebody's really looking like, okay, what should I do next? Just focus on, okay, what am I trying to achieve? What are the results that I'm trying to get? And then I would ask the question, okay, who's the person that is ahead of me that already achieved that result, so I can model them, okay, I can learn from them. And that can be from, and in my opinion, that's then the best. If you can't get their coaching, find their book, right? Find their book and just, like, I can't afford Russell Brunson's coaching. If I could, I'd be really happy, right? So I got his books, and his books are phenomenal. Is it the same as one-on-one coaching? No. However, it definitely helped. So, and that's the same with Brian Tracy. I mean, shoot.
So you mentioned Brian Tracy, and that kind of leads me to my next question is, like, do you have a mentor? Would you say that he's your mentor, or do you have another mentor besides him?
I have several, actually. So you can see any single book that you read as, like, this is my mentor, right? And that could just be as in, okay, I'm reading the book, so he's mentoring me through the book, right? Now there's some different things that you can do. There's more a question of, you know, do you believe in that or not? because there's meditations that you can do where you can actually sit and relax and make sure that your whole body relaxes and your mind as well. And you can actually pretend like you're having a conversation with that person and get answers from him from what you've learned or from who you know that he is. In general, that's you giving yourself answers. However, you can do it that way, which is very powerful if you believe in those kind of things and if you're into those kind of things. So that's one. My mentor right now is 𝐶𝐤. He's coaching me. I also have a health coach, which is 𝐼𝐧𝐭, which is very important. As I said, like offline world is just as important as the online world. So I got him working with me on my health and my what I eat and how I work out and when I work out and all that stuff. Checking my sleep patterns and all those kind of good things. And what else do I have, man? Poof. I think those are the two main ones right now. And then, of course, I got my Facebook group coach. She's working with me on making sure that the Facebook group is growing, engaged, fun, valuable. Mm-hmm. So those three. And her name is Alyssa Montes.
Mm. So, that kind of goes back to what you had mentioned before about finding the people that instead of learning how to do it yourself right away, just find somebody else that knows how to do it. Your Facebook group, people running that and growing that with you, and instead of just trying to like figure it out yourself, find the people that actually know how to do it already.
Absolutely, man. That's the way to move forward.
So if there was just like one piece of advice that you were to give a brand new entrepreneur just getting started, what would it be?
Work on you. Well, one, and I give that advice every time. That's why I was looking kind of like, okay, can I give a different advice? Because I give the same advice. So one, get a coach. Like there's no ifs and buts about it. If you're an entrepreneur, and especially if you're an entrepreneur that coaches, if you do not have a coach of your own, good luck. Mm-hmm. It's going to be really, really hard. So any entrepreneur, get a coach and just find somebody that's, that has what you want. Right. And then somebody that's 2 steps ahead of you. If you can get somebody that's even more steps ahead of you, better. Right. I got very lucky with 𝐶𝐤. I mean, he's miles ahead of me. And sometimes you get lucky. Right. But you get lucky because you know exactly what it is that you want. And then for some reason, your whole being is attuned to that. Right. So when I got the opportunity to work with him, it was for a fraction of what he usually charged. I was all over that. Right. And that's what happens. So first of all, work on you. Like know exactly what it is that you want. Why do you want it? Mm-hmm. Like the misconception, I see it so many times, and you've probably seen it as well. Like if you ask people like, why are you an entrepreneur? And you see everybody like with the what's it called? The Braveheart pictures. Freedom! And then you ask them, what does freedom mean? And then silence. It's quiet. Like nobody answers that question anymore, right? And then you ask them, okay, so what are you doing as an entrepreneur? So they used to be a 9 to 5, and now as an entrepreneur, all of a sudden they work 14 to 16 hours a day. It's like, what? Then where's the freedom? Am I missing something or what's going on here, right? Mm. So it's you gotta have perfect clarity, and it's okay to work 14, 16 hours if that's what you want, right? I'm not gonna lie. I mean, there's people that love that. Go ahead, right? But just make sure that it's your thing. It's like, exactly like, okay, this is how I want my life to look like. This is how healthy I want to be. This is how I want my house to look like. This is how the kind of friends that I want to have, right? The people in my environment. This is the kind of car that I want to drive. This is the kind of people that I want to work with. And this is the kind of team that I want to have. This is the kind of programs that I want to have. And detail. Like my stuff is detailed as I can get it. And I think about that stuff and I look at that stuff daily, right? Mm-hmm. Like I still do that. Like, and then every single day I sit down and I visualize what that looks like in each different area. That if you start out, it's so important to take the time to sit and just think of that longer vision, because and the why you're doing it, because that is what will keep you going. Because the entrepreneurship, it's no joke. Like, you're talking about unknown things and curveballs and stuff like that. Dude, man, I don't talk about that stuff. I talk about you getting jawed in the, you're getting a hook in the face continuously, and you'll get knocked out flat on your back. And the question is then, what's going to help you to get up, right? And to keep getting up, right? And sometimes you're trying to get up and somebody just kicking you down again, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what is that? Well, the thing that is that clarity of, okay, what is it that I want? Why am I doing this, right? And having it so clear that there's nothing, not even, I don't know, name somebody that's huge and big and strong standing on top of you that can stop you just because you know, like, dude, man, I got my why. I know why I'm doing this. I know my visions. There's nothing else that can stop me from making this a reality. So get out of my way, and I'm going to make this happen. If you got that mindset, if you got all that clarity and detail on what it is you want, which most people don't work on because they think it's nonsense, and you're going to be unstoppable, and you're going to be growing so incredibly fast that people are going to wonder, like, oh, how did you do that? Oh, because I built the foundation. I know what I want. And now I'm working every single day to get after it, making it a reality. So yeah, man, that would be my advice. Was that too long?
No, that was actually fantastic advice. Perfect. Thank you. So just going to wrap up. I just wanted to ask how, if somebody wanted to find you, how would they find you? Would it be on Facebook, YouTube, or what would they search for exactly?
Facebook, definitely. Facebook is my main platform. They can just type in my name, Klaas van Oosterhout. I think there's only one of me. I haven't checked lately, but so far, yep, there you go. It's a small V, but that's fine.
Oh, sorry.
That's no problem, man. I see it all the time, so don't worry about it. I'm really happy that
we're gonna fix that right now.
The spelling is perfect, so I'm happy about that because what they do sometimes. I appreciate that.
There.
So, sorry, I had to laugh. All right. So that's one. And then I have a profile and a Facebook page. Reach out. Make sure you write me because I have a lot of backlog and friend invites or friend requests. And I'm picky. I'm very picky because, as I said, like, I have so much clarity of how I want my environment to look like. And Facebook is part of that. I see that as part of it, right? I don't want any negative people on my Facebook. Or people that are just in it for the money. If I fish that out before I even accept you, then great. I don't have to worry about that. And become the me I want to be. So become the me I want to be. You got a Facebook group with phenomenal people in there. We're creating an incredible family of supporting each other, being positive, helping each other out. It's insane. It's already my vision. Just has to be like 100 times bigger than what it is right now. And everything else is absolutely according to my vision. So it's beautiful. The podcast, right? Launched today. Become the me I want to be. So make sure to go on that, subscribe, download, leave an incredible review. I appreciate that. As we got big goals for that as well, with an incredible vision behind it. And what else we got? I got a YouTube channel, but let's forget about that now because that's something I'm looking at. Like, I'm looking for a who that can do that for me.
You don't want to spread yourself too thin, right?
Exactly. However, we got to know, because that's what everybody says, like, focus on one thing. All right, fair enough. However, a live interview. What can you do with a live interview? Well, I can stream now thanks to certain software, right? I can stream live on Facebook and YouTube at the same time. So now I'm on 2 platforms. Then what I can do is I can take the audio, put that on, I can put that on a podcast. And I just learned from my podcast manager that apparently I can link everything. So now the podcast goes automatically on my Facebook page. It goes automatically on LinkedIn. It goes automatically on my YouTube channel. So it's insane, right? And I don't have to do anything extra. So we have to keep working according to the motto, which I like to say always, is work smart and play hard, right? So if I can do one thing, and that's doing a live interview, and then I can have that on freaking 5 different platforms, yes, I should focus on one platform, but why not? I already have the content. Why not have it on there? And then by the time it's ready, it already got some views, it already got some likes, and now I find somebody that can do it for me, and they can blow it up. It's to me,
that's a really smart way to think about it, because I mean, not everybody uses Facebook, not everybody's on YouTube. Not everybody's on LinkedIn, not even so on and so forth. I mean, I've been fighting using Snapchat for 10 years, so it's like, I mean, like, but you never know where you're going to find somebody that's going to get value from what you're.
True. And again, you don't have to do anything. Like there's enough people on one platform. Absolutely. Right. So that's why I said I focus mainly on Facebook. That's why I got a Facebook group coach right now working with me on that. So I focus on that. However, why not just use what you already have, right? You post a photo on Facebook. Well, Facebook works it that you can immediately put it on Instagram as well. Why not, right? Until you find that person that is an expert at that, and then let them worry about how to make it blow up. But in the meantime, it's fine. Like, and I'm not on everything. Like Snapchat, I don't know what that is. I've never checked it out. TikTok, not my thing. No, thank you. And then now what they're saying about TikTok, I'm like, yoo-hoo! I am very happy I didn't do that. Although people told me, like, you must do that. It's great. I'm like, I don't. So yeah, just do you, right? Again, that it all comes with that clarity of what is it that I want? Like, what is it that I enjoy to do? Where would I like to be? And just work on that. Now, yes, I agree. If people say, like, first do Facebook, right? And if that's what you're good at, then do that first. However, as soon as you can, find people that can do everything else for you. Like Facebook, my next step also is somebody that does my Facebook for me. I like going live on Facebook, but that's about it. You got to do all the posting and all that stuff and engaging. And it's nice. I love building up relationships. I prefer this, right? The other day I was talking to somebody. It's like, hey, hop on a call. Let's do it. It's fun. Let's talk, right? It's way more fun than just writing to each other and, you know, what did you just say? And you get angry because he said something, and then you talk to him again, and it's like, I didn't say that. I didn't mean that, right? So this is easier because you can actually, like, look, okay, I understand what you're saying, right? Or be like, no, I don't. And then immediately ask the question, but you also see the emotions with it, right? Which is always better than just having somebody write it and hide behind, hide behind thinking like, oh, I can write whatever I want. Look at me, you know. I love the pictures with the cars, right? Yeah. The big cars, and then person standing there is like, hey, look at my car, right? And you're like, what? And then one of my old coaches, he did that for a joke. He said, these are not my clothes, and this is not my car, but I look good, don't I?
Yeah, most of those are rentals, right?
Not even that. I mean, I think it was a guy that we both know on Facebook, and he posted a picture of I think it was a Porsche or something, and it looked pretty cool. And he said, dude, man, the car is standing here. I thought, might as well take a picture. I thought, man, that is so hilarious. Come on. So, right. Man, who knows? Hey, do you? If you're happy with doing that and people are following you because of that, do you? I'm
I guess that comes down to it. It's like everybody can be comfortable being themselves, whatever that is, and they'll attract their ideal following.
Absolutely. Yep, for sure, man. Absolutely, 100%.
Well, Klaus, thanks again for coming on and sharing. Like, I mean, I got so much value out of this, and I'm sure that everybody else will as well. So I really look forward to catching up on the extra. I watched listened to the first 2 episodes of your podcast. I'm going to go and listen to the other 2 now, and everybody else should definitely do the same for Klaus and subscribe to his podcast. And thank you again for coming on, Klaus.
It was my pleasure, my honor, man. I really appreciate you inviting me. Loved it. And man, best of luck with this show, of course, and with your journey, man, in becoming the me I want to be.
Appreciate that. Thank you, Klaus. I hope you got an insane amount of value from this interview with Klaus. I know I did. If you like this video, your next stop should be my interviews playlist. I'll put a link to it in the description. If you have any questions you want me to ask on future interviews, drop them in the comments. And if you're not already, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.